this bill that has been passed? That's number one. Then number two, what effort are you making at the presidency? Because it requires lobby so that we can get presidential assent.
Okay, let me start by saying that Southeast Development Commission is long overdue. You remember that after the Nigerian Civil War, the federal government came up with the 3 R's: the construction, rehabilitation, and what have you. But the South is supposed to, have a big share of that program. But unfortunately, nothing happened in Southeast Nigeria. We on our own try to rehabilitate, reconstruct, and rebuild Southeast. There's no federal government intervention anywhere. Instead, you can see some in Lagos and other parts of the southern Nigeria, where the war not even affect negatively as it affected the Southeast states. So I believe that this bill is aimed at addressing those lapses. And outside that, recently you can see that the Southeast is under heavy attacks by POP and other form of banditry. And as such, we've recorded a lot of losses, loss of life and damage to properties. Hence the need, to reconstruct and rebuild Southeast. And I believe that Mr. President, His Excellency Tinubu, being a man who believes in one Nigeria, will do justice to that by assenting to that bill when it eventually gets to its table.
Any other?
There was a motion you sponsored sometimes ago about David Umahi University of Science, Medical Sciences. How far about the motion and the education standard in the eastern part of the country today? You have been trying to work on it. How have you gone? And have you gotten the support of your people about the admission racketeering that has been happening?
Well, let me start with your first question that have to do with David Umahi Federal University of Medical Sciences. The bill just came through the second reading, and as I'm speaking to you, it has been committed to the Committee on Tertiary Institution, and we're working on it. The university before now has been in existence, having been established by the law of Ebonyi State in 2021, but following the visit of the then President Muhammad Buhari, who was moved by the over-determination of the then Governor, His Excellency David Umahi, to develop the young state, Ebonyi State. He pronounced the taking over of that university. And I believe that that was a very good step taken by President Buhari to encourage the young state. And as I'm speaking to you, that university is one of the best universities, not just in Nigeria, but entire Africa, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of commitment of lecturers towards the students, in terms of medical equipment, in the teaching hospital aspect of the university. So it's a welcome development, and I believe that in no time, the university, Mr. President will assent also to the bill, to give it the necessary legal framework to operate as one of the foreign universities in Nigeria.
Yeah, distinguished. In retrospect, if you look back at Ebonyi State 20 years back and today, and being a representative of the people, what would you talk about Ebonyi State in terms of education?
Well, actually, we are backwards educationally 20 years back. But I must tell you, going by the effort made by our successive leaders, starting from Samego that gave us free education, followed by Elechi, and being amplified by the immediate past governor, His Excellency David Umahi. Ebonyi of yesterday is different from Ebonyi of today. In the area of education, we are both so many states. In the area of infrastructure, we are number 2, if not number 1, courtesy of the leaders we've had in the past. And I must commend the sitting governor of the state, His Excellency Francis Obonianwe, who is taking, following the steps of his predecessor in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of social welfare of the people, in terms of, ensuring quality education for Ebonyi children. I must say that Ebonyi is blessed because we've always had good leaders who are committed, the concerns and the development of their people and the state at large.
Yeah, distinguished. You see, Nigeria, maintenance culture has been the bane of our leadership. So what are you putting in place together with other leaders to make sure all these things you've enumerated now, that the achievement in terms of education and others are maintained?
Sure. I will agree with you that as Africans we lack maintenance culture. And but I must tell you, from these successive leaders we are getting, I believe that the story will change. And more so as Parliament, it's also our duty to follow up to make sure that this spirit of maintenance is really inculcated into our public system through our oversight functions, which we are doing very well.
And Chijoke.
Yes, distinguished sir. There seems to be a deliberate, attempt to attack people from the southeast in all fronts. Now, as a leader from the southeast, we heard about what happened in Wuse Market, that many shops were burnt, both shops were burnt. And yesterday there was equally a report from Lokoja that those businessmen in Lokoja, there is what do you call it, kidnapping going on every month. They kidnapped the wife of a businessman today, next month they kidnapped a wife of a businessman. Now, and if you look at it together with what happened in Lagos about last month, demolition of properties everywhere. What are you, how do you address this evil businessmen that I know are scattered all over the country?
Well, let me disagree with you on your submission that there are deliberate effort to attack Igbos. No, I don't agree. What happened in Wuse Market, as you can see, was an accident, and it has been addressed by government and the leadership of the market. So it's not good to play politics with everything. Igbos are part of Nigeria, and we are comfortable being part of Nigeria, and we are all businessmen. Even me talking to you, I'm not just a lawmaker, I'm a businessman. So, and we are in every part of the country, and we are doing our businesses both in Lagos, devoid of any form of intimidation or harassment.
The same Senator, Abe, sorry, we saw the FCT minister at the chamber yesterday and the FCT commissioner of police, because of level of insecurity, kidnappings and all that sort of matters there. What actually came out of the meeting interface with the...
Well, if you had listened to a live program of AIT last night, addressed the issue. The meeting was a very fruitful one. Okay. He told us his determination with the security chiefs within the FCT, to minimize, if not completely eradicate, insecurity in the FCT. And as a parliament, we were satisfied with that explanation. I call it very brilliant, response to the query. But we issued him a query to appear before the Senate and explain why FCT, being the seat of power, should be under this serious attack. He came and explained, and I must tell you, the level of insecurity within the FCT is gradually, reducing, showing that his measures are working, and we commended him. In particular, the FCT CP was, commended for the drastic change we witnessed in that sector upon assumption of office.
Lastly, sir, the last time...
Last question.
Yes, the last time the Senate summoned the serving chiefs, you put out the vote of confidence on them, and in the last few weeks now, there's the issue of kidnapping around the country, all around the country, Kaduna, Sokoto, Kogi State. Now, are you saying you are reversing your statement, and you said earlier that if any of them is not living up to standard, Senate will recommend, will put a recommendation to the presidency for his removal? Are they living up to expectation now?
Well, generally, insecurity is a global problem. Kidnapping and banditry is not only obtainable in Nigeria, it's obtainable even in America, a country we see as #1 country in the world. So it's a global challenge. But I must tell you, the security chiefs, they are doing their best, and we are watching them. We are not sleeping. We are measuring them based on what is happening. If there is need for us to show them the door, that will definitely happen, because as Parliament, we cannot compromise the interests of Nigerians as it relates to securing their lives and properties.
Thank you very much.
On this note, distinguished senator, I want to thank you very much